And it looks like everything is coming up as it should. And it looks like I am live on my channel. And it looks like everything. And I've got audio. Oh, what a wonderful thing. Goody goody gumdrops. Pow, and there I am. I poofed myself into existence. Wonderful, wonderful. Greetings all. Welcome to the first stream. A little bit easier for me to set things up and do things like this as opposed to recording. And typically I fly off the seat of my pants when I record videos. It's the only way I can get things done, you might say. So, Bitcoin. Probably, people were calling Bitcoin to hit 50K last weekend. I'm like, nah. We're going to hang out that 45,000 to 48,000. We're going to hang out there for a few weeks and run sideways. All right. And there are a few different reasons I've said that, and we're going to get into it now. However, I think that by probably Thursday, Friday, this week coming up, Bitcoin is going to go up through 50,000. You know, it certainly could. It could breach 50,000 in a candle wick or something like that, but I don't believe it will stay there. But we'll take a look at why here. In the 24 hours, see every single time that Bitcoin even gets close into that 49,000 mark, wherever it is in 49,000, someone throws a ginormous sell order on there to pull it out of the 49,000 and kill momentum. But then there's people there to buy it right back up, and it continues going. And then as we get 49.5, 49.6, bam, we're going to get slammed again. Bam, get slammed again. And this isn't like normal resistance you see. It's wicks, candles, markets that go straight down like that. It screams manipulation to me. All right. And I am fearing, we'll see. We will see this weekend what happens here. Where do I have my deal? I wanted to bring up the old Wyckoff. If anyone knows anything about what was going on, where Bitcoin went from 65,000 and within a week it was down to like 35 or 39,000. And before that, the market was acting very strange for about a month, where we went up to around 50,000, and then we go up to 55, and then back down, and then back up to 55, and then back down, and then up to 65, and then back down, all within like days. It was very strange, and looking back, you can tell there is a lot of manipulation, because typically when you're riding the uptrend and you have a blow off top, typically the retracement is not going to be lower than it was your level of support before that. Typically it's not going to have a blow off top that's going to be lower than your level of support before. Usually it will drop down. You make 100% gains, it'll drop down 60 or 70%, but you'll end up still above where you were before you entered into the peak. And that is with Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin. Now the altcoins can do whatever. But the amount of money that's in Bitcoin, the price, the market cap, and everything that's in with Bitcoin, for it to be steady at 45,000 and then go up to 55,000 in a couple of days and then slam down to, say, 41,000, it just kind of screams manipulation. So the reason that I'm saying that the end of the week is going to see probably the 50,000 and probably stay there is because there's like 250% bets on longs that would close out next week versus the shorts. Nobody is shorting Bitcoin at all, really. When you look at the chart, see up here, the longs versus shorts and versus the average is 250%. and I'm thinking that it closes out next Friday, I want to say. So I think that it's getting suppressed down for whatever reason, how that benefits people to not have it actually hit until closer to next Friday. I don't know, but everybody is long in it, and I don't know if they want to wipe the people out that are long in or what the deal is, but every time you see a massive amounts of bets, and Bitcoin has been going sideways for about 2 weeks, it's gradually on the uptrend, but sort of sideways, right? And it just kind of looks like it might be a little manipulated, but you'll know, right? You'll know if we're back into a Wyckoff, if, say, tomorrow, Sunday is typically a slow day for cryptocurrency, but, in the last few weeks, it's actually been a pretty good day. But you'll know if early next week you hit like 55,000 on Monday or 58,000 and just a massive climb up, and then it drops down to say 45,000. It's like, then be very, very, very careful and accumulate on the dips, because odds are it's going to be going up and down in a washing machine cycle until they decide to let it go. It's what it is. A lot of the big boys want to accumulate more, and I look at it as a buying opportunity. That's kind of how you have to do it. And it's always, your time in the market is going to beat timing the market for most people. Time in the market, you kind of see these things coming, and you know when to place your bets and put your stuff on the market. And also, it gives you security in knowing that if they're playing their little games, it's going to come out of it. And if you're an investor and not a gambler, it doesn't matter what they do with the market. The longer you're in, the more secure you are in your position with Bitcoin, right? Just 1 year ago, Bitcoin was like 10,000, right? So if you got in at 10,000, do you care if Bitcoin goes from 65,000 to 40,000? No, because you're still up 400%. And that's the way that we look at it. That is the way that we look at it. In other news, Bitcoin hash rate is coming back up to where it was when China kicked everybody out. Of course, it's probably not back fully there, but a lot of people have seized the day, as they say, with China out of the game. And I think it was like 60% of the Bitcoin mining all came from China. And that increased everybody else's profits by 60%. So you better believe everybody was cashing out and selling so they could buy more gear, so they could mine more Bitcoin, so they could sell off a bit more, so they could buy more gear, so they could mine more Bitcoin. Okay, and yeah, hash rates bumping back up. More and more miners, more dispersed all over the world, doing their thing, securing the network, and it is all good. In other news, this one from the Daily Hodl, cryptocurrency adoption is skyrocketing. And this country is leading the way. And I think the country that they're talking about is Vietnam. Vietnam. Now, I'm from America, and, our ideas about Vietnam are rice farmers, right? They're leading the way in Bitcoin. They're going to be one of the richest nations, in the coming decades, just like El Salvador. Who's not really on the list? America. I think the Americans need to put down the donut and figure out what's going on in the world, and maybe start investing. Because guys, the crypto market's hot. It's always kind of been hot in that you have these huge, tremendous gains that are made, and these wild upswings, and then these wild downswings, and all this stuff. But as people adopt cryptocurrencies, and as the big governments get involved in doing their own cryptocurrencies and all of this, a lot of the fly-by-night pump and dumpers are going to go away, and you're going to be left with, 100 cryptocurrencies that are solid, actually providing use to the people. And those are going to be like your Microsofts, your Apples, your Googles, or your Teslas, or whatever, right? Those are going to be the crypto businesses. This is what happened in the tech boom. This is what happened, okay? You had all these tech startups that never did anything. They were just white papers, right? And they just collected money from investors that were naive, and then they folded shop. And then you had the actual companies doing something coming out the other side. This is going to happen in, within the next 10 years, you'd say, but getting in early when you're getting, say, the equivalent of a Google or the equivalent of an Amazon. Amazon was like $10 at one time or $5 at one time. Getting in that early in these things is not going to be there 5 years from now. It's not going to be there 10 years from now. There's not going to be wild upswings where you're going to make 400, 500, 600% profits in a month. It's not going to be there. Now is the time. Okay. And it's that wild 3, 4, 5, 6x swings are not going to be around forever. This is the golden opportunity right now for anyone who is on the sidelines about investing. On the sidelines. Other than that, somewhere in here they had the full list. Maybe that was on a different page. Bitcoin and crypto adoption soars 880%. That is where our crypto adoption is at. Analysis from Chain Analysis disclosed its 2021 Global Crypto Adoption Index as part of a more detailed report to be released in September. And here we have the list: Vietnam, India, Pakistan, Ukraine, Kenya, Nigeria, Venezuela, United States, down there in like number 8th or 9th. That's really sad for supposedly being the tech leader of the world and the empire and the juggernaut, and the people are all asleep in America. All of the countries come to America to do business and be a part of the exchange where all the money is, but the actual citizens in America have no clue what's going on. They just go to Burger King and McDonald's and then go home and watch Netflix, and that's it. It's really sad. Togo, which I've never heard of. I don't know what that is. The country, apparently. Argentina, Colombia, Thailand, China. China is still on there despite banning cryptocurrencies. For the most part. They still let their people have like $1 worth. They can have $1 worth of Bitcoin. But you got to get it from us. The China bank. Brazil, Philippines, South Africa, Ghana, Russian Federation, Tanzania, and Afghanistan is on the list. I wonder why Afghanistan is on the list for cryptocurrency adoption. I wonder why those guys are on there. You know who else isn't on there is Nigeria, I don't think. Oh yeah, they are. Because I was going to say Nigeria might not be on the list because they all already use it. It's another country where they have all sorts of restrictions on cryptocurrencies because their dollar or whatever they're using over there is not really worth anything. So everybody uses cryptocurrencies. And they just kind of ignore the government, which is a pretty good idea. It's just a pretty good idea. What else do we got? For anyone who hasn't heard of a Wyckoff chart, it's a thing. The guy's name was Wyckoff, who was a stock trader back in the golden era of 1920s or 30s. And he got sick of, apparently, this is the story now, and I can't confirm that it's true, but this is where the terminology comes from. He understood how the big players would shake all the little guys out, and he graphed it out on a chart as to exactly how you do it and what is going on in each phase of the Wyckoff distribution method. And so what we say is like the Bitcoin chart during that period after May 19th, before May 19th, and then after May 19th until it recently rebounded now, it kind of matches up almost perfectly to this thing that's called a Wyckoff chart, Wyckoff method. And it's very, I would think that in this day and age, it's fairly simple to do with the way that trading goes on the stock markets there. It's done a lot by AI. So if you have your buddies together and your Bitcoin whales and you all have 10,000 Bitcoin and you want to accumulate more, or if you're Grayscale or if you're BlackRock or you're whatever, you can just tell your computer program this is what you want to do, right? You can just tell it to trade so it follows a Wyckoff accumulation chart and it will just do it. Okay, so, you know, I'm not one for reading the tea leaves so much on the technical analysis for a lot of things, but when something matches, you can take the Wyckoff chart made by a guy and put it up to it and it matches perfectly. It's like, well, odds are pretty good. That wasn't a random occurrence, you know. So Bitcoin 50,000, as far as, you know, where it's going to go, it's always, of course, going to go higher, not investment advice. But Bitcoin, you know, is on track. My personal projection, where I think it's going by the end of the year, is 80,000. And I'm pretty darn sure it's going to do higher than 80, but my target is 80. Okay. Everybody else is around the 110 mark. Max Kaiser's at the 220 mark. We're not even into September. September, October, November, December. That's a long time. So easily could be up in the 100,000. But people like to manipulate Bitcoin, and people like to get it for and accumulate as much as they can for as little as they can. Problem: the exchanges are running out of Bitcoin, and the miners do not want to sell their Bitcoin. So you've got a supply-demand issue, and you're not so confident about putting giant sell orders and shorting the market so much when you don't know that you'll be able to get your Bitcoin back. Right? You don't want to put up, $100 million worth of Bitcoin to do all these shorts and try and manipulate the market if people are snapping it up as soon as you put it up and continuing the price up to where you can't buy back in. See, the idea is you dump a whole bunch on the market, on the spot exchange, and the market stays down for a little bit so you can accumulate and gradually buy up the Bitcoin from all these different places. But if enough people are there for the buying interest to be through the roof, and you try that, the candle won't even hardly go down. It'll go down for like 15 minutes, boom, right back up, and you just lost your stuff. You have to buy back in now at the same price that everybody else is. So, we'll see how strong the market is and how much money is at play. Of course, Bitcoin is going to go through 50,000. It's not really a question of if, it's a question of when. My projection for it staying above 50,000 is going to be after 1 week from now, basically. Until then, we could wick above it and then come back down to 48, 49. It seems like they're real content to have it in the 48, 49 mark. So as far as if you're dollar cost averaging, if you're getting it in less than 50,000, dollar cost average into it. My opinion of the hard bottom of Bitcoin is 41,000. Okay, it's been ever since the market turned around and we hit 41,000. That's the new hard bottom as far as my opinion on that. So if you're getting in there anywhere as close as you can get to that, you're doing good. But I think that people before too long are going to be like, "You got Bitcoin at less than 50,000? Wow!" Just like people are marveling at guys who got Ethereum for $300-400 or $200. It's like, I haven't been in the market that long, and I remember $200 Ethereum. That wasn't that long ago. That was like a year and a half ago, maybe. So crypto market moves quick. Hey, look, we got Jack here. How you doing, Jack? We're just kind of wrapping up here. I am going to be streaming on the other channel right as soon as I get done with this one. And we'll see you over there. I don't think I had anything else to go into other than that's the idea for what's going on with Bitcoin. The rest of the markets we can take a brief look at, but everything is going to kind of follow Bitcoin with one or two players that might have something going on for upgrades in the background that will maybe break away from Bitcoin a little bit. But I think a lot of stuff is going to go sideways for the next several days until Bitcoin gets figured out at its $50,000 mark and what they're going to do with the markets, like I said. So that is what I got. Jack, you take it easy. And, maybe we'll see you in about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to talk about some more serious stuff other than making money. So with that, guys, we are going to be